Humanity's patience finally snapped. The six-day war that shattered the galaxy, the Galactic Council had always considered humans peculiar. Among the 372 species that comprise the interstellar community, humanity stood out not for their strength, the Krellians were stronger, nor for their intelligence, the Vaxori held that distinction. What made humans unusual was their restraint. For 43 years, humanity had endured provocations that would have driven any other species to war. The Zethran Collective had seized human colony ships, claiming territorial violations. The Macron Empire had imposed brutal trade sanctions, strangling human worlds of vital resources. Border skirmishes, kidnappings, deliberate insults. The list grew longer with each passing year, and through it all, humanity negotiated. They filed formal complaints. They attended endless diplomatic sessions in the crystal halls of the council station. They smiled through gritted teeth and extended olive branches that were repeatedly set ablaze. Ambassador Lina Torres had been humanity's voice in the council for 7 years. She was a woman of remarkable composure, with dark eyes that had witnessed countless injustices without ever betraying the rage that simmered beneath. She had perfected the art of diplomatic language, of turning threats into concerns and ultimatums, into strong recommendations, but even Lina's patience had limits. The breaking point came on a Tuesday. Humans still tracked their calendar. Despite spanning dozens of star systems, the Zethran Collective, emboldened by humanity's apparent weakness, launched an unprovoked attack on the agricultural colony of New Harvest. 3,000 civilians dead in a matter of hours. Children vaporized in their schools. Farms turned to glass by plasma bombardment. The Zethran ambassador, a crystalline being named Thexthor, addressed the council with what passed for a smile among his kind. A regrettable border incident, he called it. These things happen in contested space. Lina stood slowly. The chamber fell silent. Those who knew humans well recognized something dangerous in her measured movements. Contested? Her voice was quiet, but it carried to every corner of the vast hall. New Harvest was 6 light-years inside recognized human territory. There is no contest. Your species is so emotional. Thexthor clicked dismissively. Perhaps this is why you are unsuited to. I am withdrawing humanity from the Galactic Council, Lina interrupted. Her words landed like a physical blow, effective immediately. We will no longer participate in this body's deliberations, nor will we recognize its authority over human affairs. The council erupted. The Vaxori Primarch, a being of pure thought housed in a mechanical body, projected confusion. Ambassador Torres, this is highly irregular. The proper procedure, Lina said, has failed to protect a single human life. We have filed 4,612 formal complaints over 4 decades. We have received sympathy, empty promises, and contempt. The Galactic Council has demonstrated that it exists to maintain the comfort of the powerful, not to ensure justice for all. She gathered her materials with deliberate care. Humanity is done asking for permission to exist. We are done begging for the right to defend ourselves. We are done pretending that this council serves any purpose beyond enabling the strong to prey upon the weak. Behind her, the small human delegation stood as one. Wait, the Primarch projected urgently. What does humanity intend to do? Lina paused at the chamber doors. When she turned back, her smile was terrible to behold. We're going to demonstrate why patience should never be mistaken for weakness. The next day, the human fleet emerged from quantum gates across 17 sectors simultaneously. Captain Remy Chen commanded the dreadnought Unbroken Will, the flagship of humanity's 3rd fleet. He was a compact man with steady hands and eyes that had seen too many of his crewmates die in incidents that the council refused to address. Like most military humans, he had spent decades on a leash, watching politicians tie themselves in knots to avoid giving the order he'd been waiting for. That order had finally come. All ships, he broadcast across the fleet channel. Weapons free. Rules of engagement are clear. Military targets only, but anyone who shoots at you gets what they give. Show them what happens when you wake a sleeping giant. The Zethran home fleet was the first to learn. Human warfare was unlike anything the galaxy had seen. Other species had grown complacent with centuries of ritualized conflict. Challenges issued, champions selected, battles fought according to agreed-upon rules. They had forgotten that war could be total, that an enemy could strike everywhere at once. That hesitation could be fatal. The humans didn't hesitate. They had spent 4 decades building weapons in secret, designing ships that didn't just fight but hunted. While the council debated and the great powers postured, humanity had been preparing for the day when talk would end and action would begin. The Zethran fleet outnumbered the human ships 3-1. It didn't matter. Human quantum missiles didn't respect traditional defensive grids. Human fighters moved with a ferocity that bordered on suicidal, piloted by men and women who had personal reasons to fight. Human Marines boarded enemy vessels not to capture but to cripple and destroy. Remy watched from the Unbroken Wills Bridge as Zethran capital ships died in blossoms of fire. Target their military installations, he ordered. Shipyards, bases, command centers. Burn them all. Sir, his tactical officer reported. The Macron Empire is mobilizing to support the Zethran. Good, Remy said coldly. Add them to the list. By the end of the second day, the Zethran Collective's military capacity was devastated. Their home fleet was scattered debris. Their forward bases were craters. And the humans had suffered losses that would have broken any other species. But they kept coming. On the third day, Lena received a frantic transmission from the council. The Primarch's projection was no longer composed. Ambassador Torres, you must call off your military. This aggression is unprecedented. Is it? Lena asked mildly. More unprecedented than bombing civilians, than seizing colony ships, than 43 years of treating humans as acceptable targets. The Zethran have agreed to reparations, to negotiations. They had 43 years to negotiate. They chose murder instead. Lena's expression hardened. Humanity is done being reasonable. We tried it your way. Now you'll see what happens when humans stop being polite. The galaxy watched in horror as human fleets carved through military target after military target. The Macron Empire's shipyards burned. The Zethran's command structure was decapitated. Every species that had supported or ignored attacks on humanity found their military capabilities systematically dismantled. The humans didn't occupy territory. They didn't demand surrender. They simply destroyed the capacity to wage war and moved to the next target. On the 6th day, it ended. Not because humanity grew tired, but because there were no more targets worth hitting. The Zethran Collective and Macron Empire no longer had the military power to threaten anyone. The other species that had participated in decades of incidents against humanity were too terrified to do anything but hide. Remy stood on the bridge of the Unbroken Will, looking at the tactical display. The ship bore scars from a dozen engagements and his crew was exhausted. But they had done what needed doing. All fleets, he broadcast, return to human space. The job is finished. Lena addressed the Galactic Council one final time via hologram. She appeared in the chamber but did not enter it, maintaining humanity's withdrawal. 43 years, she said quietly. For 43 years, humanity asked for justice through your systems. We were patient. We were reasonable. We were diplomatic. And our children died for it. She let that sink in. Humanity will not rejoin the council. We will not return to the old system where might makes right and the weak are acceptable prey. But we will propose something new, a treaty of mutual defense. Any species may join. The terms are simple: attack one, face all. No exceptions. No politics. No endless debates. The council chamber was silent. You called humans weak because we preferred talk to violence, Lena continued. You mistook patience for cowardice. Let these 6 days teach you something that should be taught to every species in this galaxy. Humans will go to extraordinary lengths to avoid war. But when war comes, we don't fight to win battles. We fight to ensure the war never needs to be fought again. She ended the transmission. In the aftermath, 100 species scrambled to sign humanity's mutual defense treaty. The others, broken and humbled, withdrew into their own territories and tried to rebuild what humanity had shattered. The galaxy learned a lesson that day, one written in fire across the stars. Humanity's patience was their greatest gift to the galaxy. Taking advantage of it was the worst mistake anyone could make, because when humanity's patience finally snapped, the galaxy itself trembled. The end.